You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. So there has been a gigantic point of contention among fans who have listened to all of our practice reports, not just mine, but the collective media practice reports, where the defense in the first week has very clearly had an upper hand in team period over the offense. Figured, let's call Derry Beckwith and get his opinion on this. Former All-SEC linebacker, good enough to hang out with us for a couple minutes here. Beast, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Defense has kind of overwhelmed the offense in team period so far. A weekend, what, if anything, do you make of it?
I think typically when you go into fall camp, the defense is always ahead of the offense historically, just because offensively they have a lot more schemes and a lot more things to kind of get in place, and defensively kind of running around and making plays. So I don't buy a lot into it. It's still early in the process with just 1 week of camp. They have a long ways to go, but it is refreshing to know that the tune from last year is a lot different. Yeah. I know last year the defense was getting burnt on one-on-ones. They were getting burnt in 7-on-7. They was getting burnt when they went into the locker room. So it was never a good feeling last year hearing this defense. But now seeing them coming along and the transfer guys that they got into the portal are making plays, it's good to hear. And eventually the offense will catch up. So it's always a positive when you see the defense that go out there dominating.
Yeah, man. 2023, Derry, was, oh boy. I mean, that was from the first day of practice. You knew Jaden Daniels and those receivers were really good, but that defense was atrocious. You could just tell. It's a 180 right now. Do you have any concerns about the offensive line struggling with this defensive front?
I think I have concerns early on. I do believe this offensive line collectively is more talented than it was last year. The issue is this. Our offensive line has to have cohesion and continuity. These guys haven't played together at all. You have a couple guys that transferred. You had the guy from Virginia Tech, other guy from Northwestern, and then you plug in new starters. They are talented, they are physical, and they are athletic, but I don't want people to get in a panic early on if they do struggle running the football, because it's going to take time for these guys to gel together and be on one accord. It's not like you can just throw them out there and, look, we'll be able to rush for 250 yards the first game, especially going against the defense like Clemson, and obviously have two deep tackles that are all world projected, top draft picks. So I do believe this O-lineman will come along. It's just going to take some time, but I do believe they will get it together. And I think from last year they have a lot of pride because we couldn't run the ball versus Salt last year. So I do believe that's going to be a point this year to make sure we run the football, because now that you're in this 12-team playoff, I know everybody's depending on Nussmeier to throw the ball around, but let me tell you something. It always goes back to the old tradition of football. You have to play defense and stop the run, and offensively you have to be able to run the ball to keep the defense honest.
Hey, Derry, was there a year that you can remember in fall camp where it was maybe something similar, where the defense really had the upper hand early, but then the offense kind of came along?
I think every year, honestly, that I was at LSU, the defense always had the upper hand. I was fortunate enough to play with some studs on defense like Glenn Dorsey and LaRon Landry and Tyson Jackson and Chevy Jackson, Craig Spelt. I mean, the list goes on and on. So early on in camp, the defense always had the upper hand. And then later in camp, the offense would kind of start making some plays and get things going. But defensively, it's like when you go against the same offense every day, Matt, you know what they're going to run. Like I knew when Jacob Hessel was in the shotgun with Matt Flynn, and they're in the pistol, that they were going to run speed option to the short side of the field. So I just keep that way and act like I made a spectacular play, but I already knew it was coming. So I think people have to kind of calm down when it comes to that. You're seeing the same offense every single day, and so defensively you're reacting. So defensively you can kind of cheat to the A gap or cheat outside a little bit to make a play. So I do believe the defense should always have the upper hand in training camp, and then offensively they will come along, and when the season starts, hopefully they have it in place and be able to execute at a high level.
Former LSU linebacker Derry Beckwith hanging out with us. All right, let's talk about your position. You and I have done these conversations for the last 3 years, talking about Harold Perkins and his role and if he should play off the ball or outside or what. Well, they've moved him to the star. And there he looks awesome, man. He's intercepting passes. He's sacking the quarterback. He's making tackles in space. Is it agreeable, I guess, now to say like the experiment of trying to make him an off-the-ball linebacker failed, and like he's in his natural habitat where he should be?
Yes, it is right to say that. Obviously, it did not work out. I understand, Matt, why they were trying to do it. I understand why his family and the people in his inner circle wanted him to play off the ball linebacker to prepare him for the next level. But at the same time, obviously, you have to do what's best for the program at that time. And so, playing off the ball linebacker did not suit his skill set. And I always kind of go back to when he was in high school. If you watch his highlight films, obviously he was a dynamic running back, but at linebacker, he was coming off the edge blitzing. And when he did play off the ball, he was just blitzing up the middle through the A-gap. So he never got comfortable with sitting, reading, and reacting. Now, as a fan and as a guy who wants to see every player successful, I did have hope that he would kind of grow into that role. But having him at that star linebacker position, you can use him in multiple ways. Playing the nickel Sam position, they can have him coming off the edge because basically it's a hybrid 4-3 defense. Only thing that I kind of have concern about is how that defense is going to fare against 11 personnel or 10 personnel. Are you going to bring in an extra nickel and kind of kick Harold down into the box and kind of use him like the old Clay Matthews defense that they did at USC? So that's my only concern. When you play that hybrid 4-3 defense like that, it's going against spread offenses. That's all of college football today with 11 personnel, 10 personnel. But I do believe Blake Baker and the defensive staff has a plan for Harold Perkins, but most importantly has a plan for the defense. And as fans, I just want us to kind of lower the expectations on Harold Perkins because I do believe the guy had a dynamic freshman year, and we expected that same thing again. And as a sophomore, he did a great job. He stuffed the stat sheet when they moved him back to the Sam outside linebacker position. Then last year they moved him back to off the ball, and it didn't work out. I think this year you're going to see a different version of Harold Perkins because that pressure to be all-world or the next Lawrence Taylor in football is not going to be on him. So I think he's going to play a lot more relaxed, looser, and I do believe he'll make some plays for LSU defensively because we're going to need it.
You know, Derry, Whit Weeks is back, but it looks like West Weeks is going to start next to his brother. I mean, every time they're out there with the ones, it's the Weeks brothers. West Weeks is going to replace Greg Penn, who's a 3-year starter, man. How do you think that goes with West stepping into the starting role for Greg Penn, that transition?
I think he's been there long enough to understand the scheme, understand the defense. The only thing that I am concerned about is just the speed of the game. Is West Weeks fast enough to get from point A to point B? I'm not saying he doesn't know the defense. I'm not saying that he's not physical, but watch him sporadically sometimes last year. I don't know how fast he's able to compete in the SEC offensively. Now, his brother Whit Weeks is a whole different animal, right? Whit Weeks can run. He's athletic. He can move sideline to sideline. I'm not sure about West yet. Look, man, I could be completely wrong. I haven't been to a practice yet. I'm pretty sure the guy looks phenomenal, looks great. But the only concern watching him last year, he seems a little stiff. Hopefully that can be corrected and have him, run sideline to sideline and make plays. But look, even if it don't work out, you got a guy like Devon Keys who stepped in last year as a freshman and played phenomenal down the stretch. Also, they have a freshman coming in by Charles Cross, who was a track star in high school, guy around like a 10-3 and 100 meters. So I think in today's game, Matt, you have to have speed on defense. If you do not have speed on defense, you are not going to be successful. And that's something that LSU has to get back to is when you step on the field, you see guys flying around. You saw bits and pieces of it last year, but they need to take that step forward. When you watch this LSU defense, you know it's different. It's in a whole different level. So that's what I want to see. I want to see guys flying around, making plays, and having fun.
By the way, Derry, Tylen Singleton's getting a bunch of run out there too, along with Devon Keys. It's he came in last year. He didn't play a bunch last year, but came in same class with Keys. Boy, he's filled out his body year 1 to year 2. He looks really. He's wearing. By the way, he's wearing 46. Well, you were 48, but it's a you won't miss him out there, man. When he's out there, he looks really good. Hey, before you go, is there another spot on the defense that you think they really need to improve, or you're interested to see if they've been able to improve this offseason?
Safety.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the past 2 years we just wasn't good at safety. I know they got the transfer in from Houston, and obviously we're looking for Deshaun Spears to take another step. And so I'm looking for the safety position to be a lot more elite than they have been in the past. It's just been an eye-opener watching LSU defense, Matt, the past few years and not seeing an elite secondary. It's just it doesn't even seem real. So I think with A.J. Hulsey coming in from Houston, he's going to make some noise. I've been listening to what's going on. He's not running with the ones right now, but I think eventually the guy should be starting, and he will be starting. And I believe a guy like Deshaun Spears can take that next step as well. Then you have the secondary, you have Pickett, the freshman that's coming in as well, and A.J. Stamps has a lot of experience, and the other transfer from Virginia Tech. So overall, I'm looking for the secondary to be intimidating. You know, back in the day when teams got off the bus and the receiver lined up across from the LSU DB, they were a little bit hesitant, meaning they had to think about their routes. Well, the past few years, they haven't been thinking about anything. They've just been running their routes any kind of way that they wanted to. So that has to change. They have to second guess now and a little bit be more hesitant when they run their routes. So how can I get open? And I'm looking for the D linemen to take a next step as well. I think that's something that's been missing from LSU is having that interior D line, especially the D tackle position. And everything I've been hearing from Goodman and Ahmad Goodman, that these guys have been dominating camp. And look, as a D lineman, I want them mean, I want them angry, I want them aggressive, I want their elbows and knees ashy, Matt. Like I don't want any pretty boys on D linemen. I don't want my D linemen doing any TikTok videos or any TikTok dances, at all. I want those guys mean and angry, and I do believe that Kyle Williams is going to do an outstanding job. And he's getting players in that deep tackle position that play like him. Explosive, quick, get off the ball, use their hips to get skinny, and get out the quarterback and wreak havoc in the backfield. Because if that happens, if you get pressure up the middle from the deep tackle position, it does wonders for your defense.
Hey, Derry, I'd love to have you back if you get a chance to go watch him at practice. I'd love to get your thoughts after that because I'm going to tell you this much, man. I've been going to practices for 19 years now. This is how it's supposed to look. I'm not saying this is the greatest defense you've ever seen. I'm just telling you it's how it's supposed to look. It feels like they've got the influx of talent. They finally got some dudes there again, and you can rest assured that they're going to be better, much better than they've been the last 2 years on defense. So we'll see how far it can carry. Derry Beckwith, hey man, we always appreciate the time, Beast. Thank you.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good one, brother.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.